Thank you. We began our program with a round entitled Glory to God in the Highest, which is an example of what is known as polyphonic music. For our next song, we would like to sing a familiar carol in a slightly polyphonic style where the sections enter at different times. We hope you enjoy our rendition of Jingle Bells.
Thank you. We move next to another familiar Christmas carol that is sung in a slightly jazzy style. We hope you enjoy our rendition of We Three Kings of Orient.
Sing a song which uses a very well-known lullaby melody with the lyrics from the song Away in a Manger. It also includes a very short version of Rockabye Baby at the end. Please listen to our Lullaby of the Manger.
Thank you.
For our final presentation, we present an arrangement of a very well-known Christmas carol that has been altered somewhat, but we hope you will still appreciate it. At the end, there is a short musical part that some of you might recognize. We hope you have enjoyed our program, and we wish you a very joyful Christmas season. And now, go tell it on the mountain.
Once I was a sinner, I prayed both night and day. I asked the Lord to help me, and He showed me the way, showed me the way. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Shepherds kept me watching, or silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens they shone a holy light. The shepherds feared and trembled when low upon the earth rang out the angels' chorus that gave our Savior's birth. Go and tell it on the mountain. Go and tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go and tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go and tell it that Jesus Christ is born.
Every who down in Whoville like Christmas a lot.
But the Grinch, who lived north of Whoville, did not.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right.
It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight.
But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's.
Staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm-lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath.
And they're hanging stockings.
He snarled with a sneer.
Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here.
Then he growled with his Grinch fingers, nervously drumming.
I must find a way to stop Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow he knew.
All the girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys, and then, oh, the noise, the noise, the noise!
That's one thing he hated.
The noise.
Noise.
Noise!
Noise.
Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast.
And they'd feast.
And they'd feast.
And they'd feast.
Feast, feast!
Feast.
They would feast on
which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least.
And then they'd do something he'd like least of all.
Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand.
And then the Who's would start singing.
They'd sing.
And they'd sing.
And they'd sing.
Sing, sing!
Sing.
And the more the Grinch thought of his Who's Christmas sing,
The more the Grinch thought.
I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Then he got an idea.
An awful idea.
The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do.
The Grinch laughed in his throat.
And he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat.
And he chuckled and chuckled.
What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
But the Grinch looked around, but since reindeers are scarce, there were none to be found.
Did that stop the old Grinch?
No.
The Grinch simply said,
If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead.
So he called his dog Max.
And then took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head.
And then he loaded some bags and some empty old sacks.
On a ramshackle sleigh.
and he hitched up old Max.
Then the Grinch said,
Get out!
And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town.
All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air.
All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care.
Then he came to the first little house on the square.
This is stop number 1.
The old Grinchy Claus said,
And he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist.
Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch.
But if Santa could do it,
Then so could the Grinch. And he got stuck only once, for a moment or two.
Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where all little Who stockings hung up all in the row.
These stockings
He grinned.
are the first thing to go.
Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant.
Around the whole room, and he took every present.
Pop guns,
and bicycles,
Roller skates,
Drums,
checkerboards,
tricycles,
Popcorn and plums.
and stuffed them all into bags.
Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney.
Then he slunk to the icebox.
he took the Who's feast.
he took the Who pudding,
He took the roast beast.
He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash.
Why, that Grinch even took the last can of Who hash.
then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee.
And now,
Grinned the Grinch.
I will stuff up the tree.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove.
He turned around fast. He saw a small Who.
Little Cindy Lou Who.
Who was not more than 2.
The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who'd gotten out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said,
Oh, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?
But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie.
He thought it up quick.
Why, my sweet little tot?
the fake Santa Claus lied.
There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and I'll bring it back here.
And his fib fooled the child.
Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and he sent her to bed.
And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up.
And the last thing that he took was the log for their fire. He went up the chimney, himself, the old liar.
On their walls left nothing but hooks and some wire.
And one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb not even fit, too small for a mouse.
Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses.
Leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
It was 15:15 dawn,
All the Who's still abed.
All the Who's still a snooze.
When he packed up his sled.
packed it up with their presents,
The ribbons, the wrappings.
The tags.
The tinsel.
The trimmings.
The trappings.
3,000 feet up.
Up the side of Mount Crumpet.
He rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it.
Pooh-pooh to the Who's.
He was Grinchiously humming.
They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, and I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise
Grinned the Grinch.
that I simply must hear.
So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow.
It started in low.
Then it started to grow, but the sound wasn't sad.
Why, this sounded merry.
It couldn't be so.
But it was merry.
Very. He stared down at Whoville.
The Grinch popped his eyes.
Then he shook.
What he saw was a shocking surprise.
Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing.
Without any presents at all.
He hadn't stopped Christmas at all. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold with snow,
Stood puzzling and puzzling.
How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or
And
bags.
he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore.
Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before.
Maybe Christmas
He thought.
doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
And what happened then?
Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
and the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light.
And he brought back the toys.
And the food for the feast.
And he
He himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
The end.
We wish you
Christmas.
Hanukkah, Kwanzaa,
Las Posadas.
And to all a good night.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's presentation.
Come and see us in Cinderella.
January 11th and 18th, 2020.
There will be a short break while the orchestra sets up. Enjoy the rest of the show.
See you in January.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Phil Bauman, and I'm the conductor of the orchestra here. I'm delighted to be performing for you. Some of you may have been at our concert, which we had on Monday, so we're doing a reprise of some of these pieces for you. But if this is your first concert with us this year, these are all new pieces. So we're going to start off with a piece by Henry Purcell, which is Adagio and Canzona. And it begins a larger piece that he wrote for about 13 movements, a big chorus, lots of soloists, big orchestra. But this is just a string introduction, and as you'll see, we have 3 members right in the front here who play together as a trio, as well as the orchestra around them. So they kind of interwove their part in between some solo things and some big things and interspersing them. So it's a chance to give some of our members of the orchestra some solo opportunities, and we hope you like our first number. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Balmages says the following about our next song, Rhythm Dances. Composers are clearly influenced by music they encounter through their careers. In the case of Rhythm Dances, it was the music of three very different composers that inspired me. The title Rhythm Dances is born of the type of music I focused on with each composer, the energetic Comedian's Gallop by Dmitri Kabalevsky, Harmonie by John Adams, and the more intense and violent moments of the Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky. The rhythmic intensity of this music is a clear and common thread. It became an interesting challenge to incorporate the elements of their music while maintaining my own voice. The result is a wild dance that includes moments of lightheartedness, unabashed lyricism, and intense rhythmic outbursts. Please enjoy Rhythm Dances.
Hello, my name is Deborah Blakey. The Polar Express is a 2004 American computer animated adventure film based on the 1985 children's book of the same name by Chris Van Allsburg, who also served as one of the executive producers on the film. Co-written, co-produced, and directed by Robert Zemeckis, the film features human characters animated using live-action motion capture animation. The film tells the story of a young boy who on Christmas Eve sees a mysterious train bound for the North Pole stop outside his window and is invited aboard by its conductor. The boy joins several other children as they embark on a journey to visit Santa Claus, preparing for Christmas. The film stars Tom Hanks, who was also one of the film's executive producers and was featured in 7 distinct roles. The movie was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first all-digital capture film. The 4 songs from the film's soundtrack you will hear tonight include Believe, The Polar Express, the heartwarming When Christmas Comes to Town, and closes with the festive Spirit of the Season. We thank you for coming to our concert this evening and hope you have the opportunity to hear many more outstanding performances by the college ensembles in the month of December.
Good evening. Welcome to our part of the program. That was an arrangement of a Ukrainian bell carol called Carol of the Bells, which was as recorded by the group Mannheim Steamroller for that contemporary sound that we hear. Our next piece is going to be a piece entitled Novo Lenio, which is Latin for a new and better beginning. And it starts off with a nice, slow, very gentle introduction, then goes to a faster section, and then ends with a nice, glorious ending. So this is entitled Novo Lenio. Thank you very much. Our next selection is going to be an arrangement of the Christmas song, Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, co-written by the famous great singer Mel Torme. Thank you very much. Our next selection is going to be entitled Spanish Dance, and it's an arrangement of a Spanish carol called Chiu, I believe it's pronounced. Pardon my pronunciation. But it was originally written for, this arrangement was originally written for a British brass band, so it's pretty brassy, and it's a nice, high-octane, nice, energetic piece. So we hope you enjoy the Spanish Dance. We're going to end the program tonight with a Christmas Carol sing-along, which we traditionally do with the band, the orchestra, and the choir members. And feel free, on the back of the program, I believe, we have the lyrics to the carols. And please, I encourage everybody to sing along. You may stand as well. Stand and sing would be great for audience participation. A couple announcements before we go on here. There is a music department donation box that benefits scholarship funds. So if you could please make a goodwill offering in the donation box, that would be greatly appreciated by the college. And there are also music department brochures and flyers for the Young Musicians competition that's going to be taking place. So you can please feel free to take some brochures and some flyers along with you if you know of any young musicians in your family or other young musicians that you know of that would be interested in doing the Young Musicians competition. On behalf of the entire music department, the choir, the orchestra, the band, we want to wish you all a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year, and hope you guys have a great December. Thank you very much for coming, and we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you very much.